Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, June 2nd. So we have the moon in Scorpio again here all day, and of course really pushing some intense thoughts, some intense feelings in order for us to have a major shift and major transformation in our inner realm, preparing us for big changes ahead. And of course, in order to actually make that progress, we have to examine where it is that we feel blocked, where it is that we feel restricted, and what is actually causing the problem. We are in detective mode with the Scorpio energy, so it should be very easy to kind of unearth some new details, some new information, some new revelations that will absolutely change the game. We will see the moon go void, of course, at 8:52 p.m. late this evening. And of course, we will lock into Sag energy early Saturday morning. But we are technically in the full moon window, and that energy is definitely going to build, adding a new layer of intensity on our thoughts, on our emotions, on our circumstances, because we are about to receive a brand new truth, a brand new perspective, a brand new option, a brand new opportunity, a brand new path and direction to actually walk after this full moon in Sag hits its peak energy. And of course, we get to moving. But first, we have a couple of aspects here today, 8 of them to be exact. 7 of them will be involving the moon. The moon is going to oppose Mercury right out of the gate. Now, Mercury's in Taurus energy, just cleared his post-retrograde shadow period here yesterday. And of course, Scorpio energy, Taurus energy sits across from each other in the zodiac wheel. The moon is our heart space, our emotions. Mercury is our head space, our mental plane, and an opposition would suggest that our heart and head are not on the same page. While we are moving through some of the heavier emotions in the Scorpio energy, we are also kind of fixated and have our blinders on certain topics and themes in our physical realm that Mercury in Taurus definitely wants us to analyze. Now that we are in new territory with Mercury moving forward, we are definitely going to see things a little bit differently, and this is definitely going to have a ripple effect in changing the way that we feel about certain circumstances that, of course, are changing before our very eyes. The moon will make a very positive interaction with Pluto, its ruler, who is retrograde in this Aquarian energy. So this kind of speaks of a new level of intensity, new profound insight. You know, Pluto energy definitely takes us in the deepest, darkest parts of our psyche. And, you know, Pluto's about transformation, Scorpio's about transformation. So there are some hidden details coming to the surface, really changing our perspective and as such, changing the way that we feel about certain situations as they unfolded from this new perspective, this new understanding, this new set of eyes. The moon will then interact with Chiron, the wounded healer, in not the nicest way. It is going to illuminate for us a choice point, a crossroads, if you will. And what we're kind of being faced with, of course, we're in Gemini season, so we have 2 different options, 2 different paths or directions that we could be walking. We're still kind of unsure on which one we want to be leaning into. But in this particular circumstance, we are kind of seeing where those options and opportunities are triggering some not so nice thoughts and feelings within us. Chiron, of course, the wounded healer, bringing up those wounds in order for this moon and Scorpio to change and transform them. And I would say that because we're in this full moon window, we're not really going to be able to tackle these particular issues right now. They are going to build in intensity to an extreme point of shifting under the full moon in Sag. And then as that full moon kind of dissipates, we're going to be able to kind of break free from the state of paralysis and actually move freely to kind of reorganize and restructure our path and moving forward due to these epiphanies that we are having and these issues that we are essentially growing through and healing through. The moon will then oppose and sit across from Uranus, the Great Awakener, who of course is in Taurus energy as well. So what we get here is a aha moment, an epiphany, a revelation, Suddenly, there's a shock to the system. There is just a jolt of energy pushing us to see things differently and therefore feel things differently. Because this Uranian energy is trying to open us up to change, open us up to new paths, new options, new opportunities. And because both Taurus energy and Scorpio energy are fixed energy, there is some hesitation to change, even though that we know that we gotta. So emotionally speaking, we are definitely seeing a breakthrough happening, seeing that clarity come in. And it may not be the kind of breakthrough or clarity that feels good. However, we're in a stage of the game right now where sometimes we have to have doors close on us in order to realize where it is that we're just banging our head against a wall, trying to make things work. And of course, when one door closes, another opens or remains open, and we should be focused on those particular directions, paths, and indicators, more so than focusing on why this door is no longer an option. The moon will then make another interaction with Chiron, this time a good one, which highly suggests that we are having a change in perspective, a change in thought, a change in feeling, new revelations coming forth, a breakthrough, this clarity that suddenly makes things a little bit easier to deal with, makes things easier to handle. Suddenly, what we were stuck upon, we're no longer stuck. What we were kind of looping and obsessed with, we're now free. We are seeing the growth take place at a rapid speed here these days, and that will just continue more and more as we move throughout the month of June. And then we move into a very beautiful energy that will actually carry us through this particular full moon in Sag that, of course, will peak late Saturday evening. And what that is Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, these final degrees of Cancer energy, trining with Neptune, who is in its place of power in Pisces energy. So this kind of brings back, first of all, a little bit of calmness, a little bit of chill energy. And suddenly, instead of being fearful and instead of focusing on all the things that aren't working, we are orienting to focus on the things that are working, that are making us feel good, that are beautiful in its own way. There's essentially like a new optimism, a new confidence, a new faith kind of restoring us from the funk that we've been sitting in. So instead, we are kind of more open to forgiving. We are more open to compassion and understanding. We want to get along. We want to create harmony. We want cooperation. We don't really want to be challenged. We don't want to have to compete. We don't want to have to put people in their place. We just want everybody to get along. And so when shifting our perspective to try and see the best in people, what that does is it takes a lot of pressure off the nitpicking that we've been doing, especially when it comes to our personal relationships. And we start seeing people, even if we're not in agreement or alignment with them, we see them in a brand new, different light. We see their uniqueness, we see their individuality, and we see how their particular perspective, understanding, actions are needed for the great grander plan, even though we may not agree with them. So it does kind of feel like we are kind of hyping things up a little bit. We're trying to just be the best versions of ourselves that we could be. We are kind of tapping into new levels of perspective and understanding. We're trying to kind of get our emotions kind of grounded at this time. We're just trying to kind of tap into, I'm going to say, a better vibration. And of course, we are going to feel those good vibes throughout the course of this weekend with this full moon. And kind of adding to that, the moon will then trine Neptune and then trine Venus. So this is some water on water action here. What we know is that water is emotional, it's intuitive, it's inspirational, it's motivating, it's cleansing, it's healing, it's purifying. And that is how change and transformation actually takes place. So because this is Scorpio energy and we're very, very tapped into the psychic realm, to the spiritual realm, as most water placements are, there's likely going to be a profound download taking place, receiving new glimpses, new visions, new little, I'm going to say, puzzle pieces that are going to really help us not only leave the past behind and some of the things that we are fixated on kind of in the past where they belong, but this is kind of providing that gap to be filled in with the path that we are about to walk and what it is that we're feeling intensely passionate or excited or inspired to actually pursue. And of course, where Venus is involved, this has a lot to do with stabilizing our physical realms, our emotional realms. It has a lot to do with really recognizing our basic needs and what it is that we have to do to kind of create new boundaries in our lives, especially in our personal relationships, to protect ourselves and make sure that the outside world does not have enough power to continually knock us off of our game. This is where strengthening our inner realm is concerned, and we're definitely going to see a major shift with those particular topics and themes really kind of be highlighted throughout the month of June. So if you haven't done so already, take a listen to the June's energy forecast, download your zodiac forecast for the month, download the Gemini season e-guide. There's so much information out there for you to absorb, for you to align with, for you to really kind of take in so that you can navigate these energies to the best of your ability.